Thank you for having me. It's a little overwhelming. When I saw the program and I saw who was partaking, I was a bit in awe, but I'm over that now. I know you're just people. You know, everybody goes to the toilet, all that. And then I really feel like I need to now, but that's not a good idea. Hello. My name is Jesper Rasmussen, and I am from Denmark, and I'm the chairman of the Danish Rainbow Council, which is something as unusual as a anti-woke, anti-identity politics, LGBT, yes, we still keep the T, organization. Now the T, I'm not sure that's going to linger forever, but our first chairman, I've been with it, I'm one of the founders, but our first chairman was a trans person, so it made a lot of sense, and he did a brilliant job of communicating why, of course, child sex change is an abomination that should be discontinued as quickly as possible. But now I'm it, and that's why I'm here. I am a teacher. I teach grades 1 through 9 in a state school, so I have sort of an empirical connection with children from 7 through 15, which is part of my stake in the game, I suppose. I am not a parent, though I've met many parents here, and I'm going to get back to that. All right, let's take a look at it. What is going on in Denmark? Well, I should probably briefly mention that now we're branching out. We're doing the Icelandic Rainbow Council and a Norwegian one as well. And Eldur, who spoke yesterday, is going to be heading up the Icelandic one for obvious reasons. So, yeah. All right, let's take a little look at what is going on here. Right, so the next one is going to be like 2 minutes of me sounding clever. So hopefully, yeah. And one more, please. Yeah, there we go. All right.
Det danske LGBT+-miljø kan stå over for et oprør, for i denne uge er der blevet stiftet et kritisk alternativ til interesseorganisationen LGBT+ Danmark. Dansk Regnbueråd er navnet på den nye forening, der kalder sig et tværpolitisk anti-woke alternativ til LGBT+ Danmark.
Det er jo en livslang behandling, så hvis jeg starter en 15-årig på den behandling, så snakker vi hormoner i 70 år. Det er jo ikke småting. Så der er jo risici forbundet med det. Der er også rigtig mange ting, vi ikke ved. Hvor sikkert det egentlig er, og om alt går godt, eller om vi giver i virkeligheden for lidt eller for meget i det lange løb.
Altså, jeg tror, at du som mediciner også kan blive fuldstændig fanget i det, du laver, og du er jo nødt til at tro på det, du laver. Jeg synes altid, man skal have et meget, meget kritisk blik på de her ting, og for mig så er det, der sker i øjeblikket, det er for os i Dansk Regnbueråd, så det, der sker lige i øjeblikket, det er et typisk eksempel på, hvad der sker, når lægevidenskab og ideologi begynder at tage hinanden i hånden.
Jeg er blevet spurgt om, hvor mange køn synes du, der er, Jesper, for eksempel. Og hvor jeg så siger, at der er 2. Så er der mange måder at være dreng og pige på. Men jeg vil sige så meget, at jeg kan se en lettelse i øjnene på dem, når man siger, at der er 2. Og det er fint at være dreng på mange forskellige måder, og piger på mange forskellige måder.
Hvis en af dine elever sagde til dig, jeg føler mig ikke som det køn, jeg er, hvad vil du så sige?
Så vil jeg sige, det er en vild proces, du gennemlever lige nu, og vi skal finde en rigtig god vej igennem. Vil det være okay, at jeg snakkede med din mor og far om, hvad du har fortalt mig? Og så vi kan sammen prøve at lægge en plan for, hvordan du får det bedre med at være dig, fordi du er fantastisk, som du er.
All right, so yeah, that was from the beginnings of our communication, and it's been quite a ride. As everybody here knows, it is an interesting topic to tackle, and I'm going to be talking to you today about how to maybe do it in a simpler way, because what we often find, for obvious reasons, is that it is a rabbit hole, and not everybody likes rabbit holes. So how do you make ordinary people and here I'm talking, I mean, politicians are stupid. Politicians are simple people. Many journalists are simple people. So you need to make this very accessible to very simple-minded people, or just like normal people with loads of stuff to do. And of course, what these guys will do, our opponents, is that they will pull out of their rectum some kind of bullshit, some kind of fecally challenged study, which they will use to shut down all decent and sensible arguments. And most people, you probably know it when you talk about it, you get that glazed over 1,000-mile stare where they go like, how am I supposed to have an opinion on this? I don't know. So what we found out was basically to do it in a different way. Now, our communication, the way we do the Danish Rainbow Council is that we do it on 3 different, it's a stool with 3 legs, I would say. So one is our social media interaction and publication. This is where we communicate Twitter with powers that be, Facebook with the people, and YouTube with everyone, and so on and so forth. We've also done a website, which has turned out to be like a surprisingly powerful tool, because it actually's got some pretty great articles, and we use it in our communication when we argue with people on the internet all the time to shut them up with sensibility and sense and yeah, all that. Anyway, that's what we try to do. Then we work in, let's see, politics. We work in Parliament. Big part of the job is actually there, trying to build alliances, and we've actually had some success in doing that. We've actually managed to make a coalition out of the entire right of centre parties in Denmark, united against child sex change, and we had a proposal for a year and a half ago that wasn't adopted, and there will be another one this autumn as well, which has a lot better chance, I would say, of actually making some stride. And then, of course, we engage with legacy media. This is what all televisions look like in Denmark, apparently. And that is an interesting thing, because we have had great traction with some media and absolutely none with, like, I could mention our BBC, DRTV, Danish Radio, which seems to be, I mean, of the conviction that child sex change is the best thing since sliced bread. So that's been difficult, but we've had actually rather great success in dealing with it. So just see if I can apprise myself of what is next. Yeah, so basically, my advice is make sure that if you are in my position, that you work on all these platforms. That is really, really important. Because they kind of work together, and it kind of coalesces in a way that's proven very fruitful for us. And yeah, then, well, like, wear loud shirts when you communicate about this. I mean, yeah, it's kind of silly, but when you have to, like, lots of these people are extremely hostile towards you when you are in debates and such. So I make it a point, I mean, that's not what I'm wearing. I'm not saying you are hostile or anything, this is how I dress. But I'm saying I make a particular point of actually wearing friendly shirts. Because you can't really be angry with somebody who's wearing strawberries. It's my stance on it. So, like I mentioned, we've sort of simplified our communication on this issue. And I want you, before I show you what this is all about, I want you to promise me that you will try it at least once. All right, say yes, Mr. Rasmussen. All right, very good. Let's take a look. All right, we call them the 3 simple questions about child sex change. So that's always a good conversation opener with people you don't know. So I also want to mention, I put a QR code. So if you want to know all this and more, scan it, and you'll be taken to a page where, well, you can just leave now, really, because everything I'm going to say is on there. So if anybody needs to to go to the bathroom? No, please stay. All right, so, well, here they are. The reason we did these was simply just to make it an ethical question, treatment ethics question, rather than this whole he said, she said about whether or not you can regret, whether or not you can, somebody will commit suicide. Like, just get that completely, take it out with the trash and just look at it as something a lot simpler. Right, I also want to just trigger warning you, there's going to be a laugh in this, and I want you to have it, even though it is quite a sad thing. I know Peter, whose health it pertains to, will not mind, because he will know that you're not laughing at him, you are laughing at the absurdity of what he went through. So, all right, how's that for a teaser? All right, so here's the first question, I believe. All right, question number 1, and these are all yes and no questions. Is there 100% certainty in the diagnosis of children with prepubescent, pubescent, or pubescent gender dysphoria? In other words, can we be sure that they will feel this way once puberty is over and for the rest of their lives? Because, of course, the effects of the treatment are lasting for the rest of their lives. Yes or no? Now, the question would be no, and like most people will say, well, there's no certainty in any diagnosis. That's very true. However, there seems to be a particular uncertainty connected with this particular way of treating a psychological ailment with very physical means. Now, I just want to show you this. All right, so this is a letter to a detransitioner, a guy we've worked with, a very courageous man. His name is Peter. And he had the good sense, after being completely botched and ruined medically, physically, by this system, to complain to the physician that treated him. And she had the bad sense, I suppose, to write a note on it, which he got a copy of. And in it, she admits that we have no diagnostic tool that we can apply. All that we can do is listen to what the patients tell us when they come to us for treatment. Same physician was this lovely, slightly blurred lady. In the photo, she's not working in her job as a head physician anymore for some reason. And she made the odd choice to say on the cover of one of our largest newspapers that if nobody regrets their treatment, that we're treating too few, which is a very odd stance, I think. But she was, isn't that called saying the quiet part out loud? So now here's the letter, and I will just translate. I know this so well I can do it in my sleep because it's rather extraordinary. And she says, in our meeting, we're talking about this, which is terribly difficult, that we don't have a diagnostic tool that can be applied to gauging whether or not we're doing the right thing. The only thing we can work with is the statements that people make when they come to us. And then she has this rather poignant observation where she says, this is the one that I put exclamation points by, and she says, I've told him that I am genuinely sorry that he has a sense of regret, and that, of course, it is rather unfortunate that we also removed his testicles. And which I think is a fair observation. Now, Peter is an extremely courageous man who deals with this, I would say, in a rather British way, which is never complain and never explain. Well, he has explained, but he just gets on with it. And it's the courage of these people that I am always amazed and flabbergasted by. Of course, it's the courage they shouldn't have to muster. They should never have been put through this. This is a man who has a bipolar disorder, and after one session with a psychologist, he was put onto the treatment, and about a year later, the surgery came. So much for that. All right, so on to the next question. So I think we're all in agreement that the answer to the first question is no. All right, so here comes the second question. That's the way the ethics come. If no, i.e. there is no certainty in the diagnosis, must we then simply accept that some children will have their bodies permanently damaged so that other children can receive treatment earlier rather than having to wait until they've gone through puberty, yes or no. And then I list the different risks and effects of the treatment. I don't need to read them, you know them all very well. Yes or no? Is that fair? Is that reasonable? Is that a humanistic, culturally Christian, whatever you want to apply of ethics to it, way of dealing with vulnerable patients? No. I would say no. I think most people would. All right, let's see. And of course, then question number 3, is this responsible treatment ethics? Should we continue to offer medical gender transition to children, yes or no? Yes, children, what do you say? No, we shouldn't. However, the boss for our legacy LGBT organization, LGBT plus Denmark, I prompted for an answer, and a lady that runs it, Susanne Branner, finally replied in full public view. And her answers were, no, there's no certainty. Yes, we must sacrifice some children in order for their treatment can be applied to other children. And 3, yes, we should continue to do this. And of course, this is, you can have this. You can say this. This is an honestly held opinion. Of course, it does divulge some ethics that I think most people find egregious. But again, there we are. Right, I mentioned this film. It's called Speak No Evil, and it pertains to the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is the superpower that parents have. And there are lots of parents here. A lot of people, when you meet them here, will introduce themselves as parents. And it's, you can always tell. I think there is a commonality to the way these people look into your eyes. And so you see that it's, I don't know what to compare it to, but I suppose it's like steely determination, great sorrow. They look like battle-scarred warriors, I think. And which indeed you are. This film is about what happens, and I really recommend it. It's rather gory, but it's more than that. It is about what happens when you, as a parent, negate the one superpower you have, which is an innate sense of what is right for your child. So I'm going to do a Sue one now. Sorry about that. I get rather emotional. And it is really the only superpower you have. So if you negate it, it'll go away. And you'll just be yet another primary caregiver in your child's life. You'll make the bed and you'll do the lunches, but you will have negated your power, which is knowing what's right for your child. And that's what that film is about in an extremely gory way. But it's a really great film, done by a Danish filmmaker named Christian Tafdrup. I can really recommend it. I mean, it's not the kind of thing where you sing and dance afterwards, but it is really poignant. And in it, after all these horrible things happen to these parents, finally, like at the end of the film, and that's a spoiler, so close your eyes if you don't want to see it. It's not gory or anything, but he asks this question, their father. Why are you doing this? All right. And what he says, the guy that did it, is that he says, because you let us. And that made a rather effective impression on me when I saw it at the premiere. Because I thought, this is very much what we're dealing with, is that we've let this happen to a great extent. I'm not blaming anyone. If I'm anyone, I'm blaming myself. I'm part of the generation that sort of never really fought back on the bad ideas. That generational fight that's typically there, where the grown-ups say absolutely no, and you have a fight, and then incrementally you move ahead. But in this case, no, we didn't, and that's why these really bad ideas have continued to fester. So I just want to conclude with one of my favorite quotes, which is, I can't do this. It's a very good quote, very poignant. Oh, I thought I was going to get through this. I was so close. A mother's love for her child is like nothing else in the world. It knows no law, no pity. It dares all things and crushes down remorselessly on anything that stands in its path. That goes for dads as well, of course, and I thank you for your courage. This is for the parents here. I'm so impressed and grateful to know you. Thank you.
Station gasoline